Are you looking for more books to read? We've got you covered. Book Interrupted is now doing mini episodes called Author Spotlight, where we showcase authors and let them tell us about their books and why we should read them. You can find them on our Book Interrupted channel wherever you get your podcasts.
Parental guidance is recommended because this episode has mature topics and strong language. Here are some moments you can look forward to during this episode of Book Interrupted.
Her kind of self-deprecating, very sarcastic humor is totally my jam.
That passage you read, I was like, that's so sad that the teacher was hitting them and whatever.
The teacher got worse. My expectation ruined my experience of reading it.
Dawn, it's not like she's crying because she's dramatic. She's a dramatic person, which made her more funny, to be honest.
And I'm just tired of being advertised at constantly. Don't even want to be on the computer.
Do you know she's also a playwright? So radio plays.
Oh, can you play this song again? I'm like, no, it's the radio. No, I can't. This is what we're listening to, whatever they put on.
Yeah, just the reminders of how did we make it into our 40s here, ladies?
See, that's what I'm talking about. Our entire family. I think we're just a family of black sheep. We're just a flock of black sheep.
Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted. Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being disrupted. Mind, body, and soul. Inspiration is the goal. And we're gonna talk it out on Book Interrupted.
Welcome to Book Interrupted, a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life's interruptions. During this book cycle, we're reading Kara's book pick, Nobody Cries at Bingo, by Dawn Dumont. Dawn narrates life on the res in rich technicolor. As Dawn emerges from home life, through school life, and into the promise of a great future, Nobody Cries at Bingo is a book that embraces cultural differences and does it with the great traditional medicine of laughter. Let's listen in to this episode's group discussion.
Was anyone else kind of shocked that it was presented, marketed as a novel? And I was like, well, it's much more like nonfiction.
Yeah,
It is nonfiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but
it is.
when
It's
I
her
was,
life,
looking
isn't it?
into it, I was like, oh, it's a novel. It's a novel. It's a novel. No, it's kind of like a memoir.
Yeah, it's kind of like a memoir.
Yeah.
I love this book so much. I laughed so hard at this book. I'd be reading it, be like, I have to read it. I have to read it. I'd read it out loud to the family, and the kids were like, let's hear more of the book. I was laughing constantly with this book. Her kind of self-deprecating, very sarcastic humor is totally my jam. Just so hilarious. When she's talking about the teacher, the super angry and abusive teacher. So, okay, can I read a quote?
That was my favorite chapter.
This totally epitomizes the whole book. This is her humor in a little snippet. So she gets this teacher who enters them into this reading contest and they're not winning. And she's really angry at them all the time.
Also, as a side note, Dawn is an amazing reader and she's a super reader and she reads all the time, her whole childhood. All
Yes.
she wants is a book. She's a bookworm.
It's just filled with
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read two short paragraphs because it's just so hilarious. Like all good competitors, Miss Gramiak saw this as a challenge, not a failure. She had declared her intentions and now she would employ her big city methods. These consisted primarily of yelling and pounding on desks. Sometimes she was forced to shake a student until the knowledge worked its way into their medulla oblongata. Other times she relied on vocal motivation, such as by shouting in the face of the student, "Stop being so stupid!" Some might say her methods were harsh. I felt they were effective. For instance, I never, not even once, failed to do my homework. Many nights I even lay awake, my mind frantically searching for a lesson that might have been overlooked. Who needed sleep when I had stress to keep my young body going? It's just so hilarious. She's just her methods were unorthodox but effective. I did all my work. Who didn't sleep? I'm so
traumatized. But
like hugely traumatized. Isn't that the same chapter where she starts to say that was the same year that she started wetting the bed again? But instead of owning it, she would roll her sister in it, and it was presented as if it was her sister Celeste bed
I went
wetting.
to doctors. Figure out what's going on.
Specialist. And she's like, I don't remember peeing. It's because you didn't.
Wake up in the night, push her over on the other side of the bed.
Push her into it. Good grief.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was saying when I read the books, the first third or quarter of the book, I was like, it's okay. And I remember because you asked me, Mary, and I was like, I don't know, it's okay. But once you get through the first third, the end of the book, like laugh out loud for me. Telling people about it, like chuckling to myself. Like I loved the 2/3 of the book. The end was great. The beginning, I was just like, it's okay. For me, I was saying in my book report, so this is repeating. If you can get through the beginning, you'll finish it because then it's funny. She sets herself up in the beginning for all the amusing stories by the end, in my opinion.
Life experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a confession because I only read the first. The
That's
only reason
why.
I'm here is because I haven't seen Kara in such a long time. So I wanted to say hi to
sweet.
Kara, but I didn't read the book at all. I got to page 20. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been sitting beside my bed, but I started reading it and I was like, yeah, I'll read this. And then I was like, I'm just not into it. And I don't know. And then I picked up a different book and then I read a different book instead. And then I was like, I just won't come today. But I was like, I haven't seen Kara in so long. I was like, I should
You can't
come.
like
So
not come.
Gosh,
She didn't
Blake,
read it.
You're wonderful.
I know. So here I am. And maybe I will actually read it then because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get into this. But if you said the second 2/3
Yeah,
at the end are good. Okay.
The first
then
third,
I'll-
Mare was asking me, I'm like, I don't know. It's okay. Like, it's fine. It's just about her life. It's okay. It's just like someone telling about her life. But once you get
Yeah.
into it, then it's like she's setting up all the little things about herself so that the end part is even more humorous. in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll get into it.
You have to get her voice into your head. Because when you hear her doing it, like everything is tongue in cheek, right? Like
Yes,
the
everything.
whole thing. Even this is even in the beginning when she like the Mormons come to help them and they're like, oh
That was-
God. And
that
they're
was
like,
good.
why are they so nice? And then I also like when she tries to give her sister like the wisdom she's figured out on her own. The reason you must give money to the priest is because they're stupid. And her mom's like, excuse me? She's like, well, why can't they get their own money? She's like, she's used her like mind to be like, it makes no sense that we have to give them our money. There must be a reason. And it's
There
just
must be,
so
and this is the reason.
like, because they're stupid. And her mom's like, excuse me? Just like,
But even like, I mean, the chapter you read, that passage you read, I was like, that's so sad that the teacher was hitting them and like whatever.
Oh, the teacher got
and
worse. It was
So-
horrible.
Bad.
but I think
Right?
the point is like she's looking at her life as look at all these things that happen there. If you look at it with humor, you know, laughter being the best medicine, it's absurd. So she's telling a painful story or several painful stories
Yes.
through the lens of humor and stuff. I thought she was hilarious. The whole,
too.
for me, it wasn't even the first third. Front to back, like the whole family was laughing at this book because they'd be like, Mom, read more of the book. And everyone thinks it was, you know, again, everything's a little bit tongue in cheek. There's bad things that happen, but like the way her
It's
lens,
the delivery.
the
yeah.
way she like
Yeah.
tells it makes it so hilarious. There was one point, there's a kid and he's about to punch one of the girls in the face. And she's like, you were not going to punch her in the face, were you? And they're all looking at you being like, of course he was. Isn't that what we're doing? We're playing in the playground? Like rough and tumble or whatever? Just fighting? And she's like, those teachers don't get us at all.
At all. Yeah. Similarly, like the way she was even able to like make fun of the fact that she's quite a sensitive kid, right? Who
Totally.
easily cries, and how she could just like make light on that. But yeah, like you're saying, everything is tongue in cheek, very sarcastic delivery on all the things, and pretty much all the things are slightly traumatic. And then all right. And it was during the 80s and 90s as well. So that was kind of like a nice little nostalgic piece, but I didn't have the same strong response that Meredith and Sarah had. I almost stayed in the lukewarm, Sarah, how you said the first third was, or Schweitz, when you were saying for the first 20 pages, like, I'm like, it's okay, but I could have easily passed it along and not finished reading it. I just did because it was my book pick. And it's not
I'd hope
that it
so.
wasn't humorous. It's
You're just like, why did I
just-
pick this book?
I think I was searching for, well, what is the main point? Like, why as a reader are we being brought on this journey? Because each chapter could have been just on its own. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
short stories.
Like it felt like there
Yeah.
was no arc. And maybe that's okay. And that was part of the reason why I couldn't truly be like, this is amazing, is because I just kept, there was something in the back of my mind being like, well, is this chapter going to fill me in on the why? You know what I mean?
Rather than
Yeah.
it just being painting a portrait of her life, you
I
wanted
should
it
have
to
just-
be
yeah.
like beginning, middle, climax, resolution, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I took English years
It
ago
isn't
in high
that.
school, but there was a formula that they told you
Arch.
had to write a story as,
Exactly.
and that's not this.
It's not this. My expectation ruined my experience of reading it.
Yeah, it wasn't like a story arc, and you thought it was a novel. Like this was just kind of a series of short stories that were kind of a memoir.
Yes.
Is the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like, Mare, that your book, the graphic novel, wasn't that? I mean, I didn't finish
Yeah,
that
and
one.
I
Similar.
also really enjoyed that too, right?
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm like Kara.
This is less
I-
weird.
okay.
Meredith was
I
weird.
like
Okay.
weird.
Meredith was like the uncomfortable, where this girl's was more like, look at this absurd thing that happened to me.
Some of hers was uncomfortable and awkward.
A little bit, but not.
Some of hers were awkward because you're like, oh God, why are you doing that?
So awkward. Like when she would talk to boys. Oh my gosh. I was like, no, just wrap it up.
Everybody's your cousin. It's like that.
Everyone.
Everyone's your cousin. Don't kiss anybody.
Just don't.
Even that hot one. I like how she was like, wants to go on vacation and stay with her cousins or whatever. And her mom's like, really? You're going to go stay there? You can't stay overnight anywhere without calling me. And she's like, I can. And then like, she's not even there yet. She's like, I wish I was home.
I wish I was home.
How can I convince her to come get me?
I know. Her non-athleticism, that was brutal. So painful.
You're like brutally honest.
Yeah, she really sees herself. She's taking the piss out of herself the whole book, basically. Like, it's hard to pinpoint, but it's more like let's just take a look at all the ridiculous things that happened in my childhood and me being me, how I acted during this. That was different than everyone else.
Now you know why I am the way I am today.
Yeah.
Right.
These are my natural inclinations, and then all this ridiculous stuff that also happened. Look at my ridiculous family. She was like kind of scared. Kara said very sensitive.
Yeah.
And her mom was such a warrior about whatever. Once her mom was like, I have a cause, she would just do whatever.
Oh yeah, we could figure it out.
Her mom was hilarious.
It's 2:00 in the morning. Let's hop in the car and go somewhere.
I love that she just like leave in the middle of the night all the time. They did it. Get your shoes on. Let's go. Like, just ready to leave. But yeah, funny book.
Yeah, I love the community she was raised in on the res, and all her cousins, her millions of cousins. Those were probably some of the most cherished parts of getting to know fabric of what made up Dawn, is just like the community that she was immersed in.
I think
That was
too
really
is it
good.
like took all these experiences and took them as like these aren't black or white. Some of the stuff is bad, but it's not all bad. There's good and bad kind of together.
Yeah.
Like your life is your life, and here it is for everyone to see. I'm gonna explain how ridiculous it was. Be like, this was terrible, and then she would say it in some hilarious way. Like her humor is how she, I guess,
Dealt with it.
processes those things or whatever. Anyway, so when I was saying I was like kind of obsessed with Sarah and I traded books because I bought The Deep, she bought this one, and then we traded so that we only had to buy one book. I was kind of like, oh, but then I got this one, which is also great. So I will probably reread this book, just like I would like to reread the other book. But I'll just have to wait to go visit Senegal again.
Yeah.
I'll read it at Sarah's house on the
You know what
beach.
that book felt
it's
like now that
spooky.
you're talking about it? Because not all the stories, like you have to understand, the stories aren't like only traumatic. There was a story where her friends would steal that car. It was Uncle's car. And go joyriding all over the place and drove way too fast, and they end up flipping it, which that was traumatic. They flipped it upside down and could have died. But it's like telling the stories of your youth, of the crazy, because we all have those kind of crazy stories that happened when we were young that you're like, I can't believe I did that.
I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Those are the kind of stories in this book. Just when you get together with friends and being like, well, one time when I was joyriding in my mom's car, so that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
But then I was just thinking about the joyride and I completely forgot until I started talking about it that actually they did have a traumatic thing happen in the joyride where the car flipped over upside down.
Yeah.
That was bad, but.
No, it was nice. I like that sense of relatedness. Yeah, just the reminders of like, yeah, how did we make it into our 40s here, ladies? Because we're Gen Xers, right? We we went out and about places. We figured things out on our own. And that was actually a really nice point. In reading, I found myself inevitably reflecting on some really like similar-ish memories of being like, yeah, how many people did we pile into that one car? Was it 14? Yeah, I think it was 14 people we got in that one vehicle.
The numbers 13 and 15 are in my mind. People in the trunk, layering people, back seat. And it'd be like, are you supposed to have this guy?
Before social media, right? We did all this crazy stuff and there's no documentation, just our minds.
Yeah.
Like if you did stuff now, it would be like evidence everywhere. Everywhere, evidence of what's happening.
Our actions were. Yeah. And I loved how immersed Dawn and her millions of cousins were in nature, like just spending so much time outdoors. And I was like, yeah, that was very much a part of our youth. Like you're just out there. You had a bicycle, get on it, get going.
I was just looking because I was going to ask you guys if you knew about Dawn Dumont and as an author, but did you know she's also a playwright? So radio plays. 4 of her plays were produced by CBC Radio, which I find interesting the way that you're describing it and the way playwriting is. It feels like the book has got that kind of element of what, what plays would be.
Yeah.
Anyways, she wrote for APTN's animated comedy By the Rapids too, which is written for animation. And she's done the CBC Radio's The Debaters.
Right?
I love that show.
I know
I need to
that.
find out what episode she's
Debaters.
on. My kids love that show too. I'll download
Love
it
The
on my
Debaters.
podcast app and we'll listen to it in the car. So hilarious. But then like sometimes you have to explain stuff. They're like, what does this mean? Puns. Who doesn't like puns?
There's
All
lots
the
of puns
puns.
in the Debaters. Yeah.
It's a cute,
Inappropriate
funny
puns.
show.
Well, yeah, the podcast one is
Very
like
Canadian.
the not for radio version, right? Like they have a radio version and a podcast version. So you never know what you're gonna get.
You guys listen to the radio anymore?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
In the car primarily.
Yeah, same. Bob and I were talking about it the other day and we were like, do people listen to the radio outside of being in a vehicle?
Yes. We
Okay,
do.
well, do
The
you?
radio's on the house all the time. In our house, the
Really?
CBC.
A dedicated radio, or is it like a smart speaker playing the radio?
No, it's a proper radio with like
I love
antennas and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Just
So-
have it set to CBC and that's
Yeah.
where it pretty much stays?
Yeah, until I get annoyed and I turn it off. But
Mm-hmm.
my other half likes to have it on all the time. And sometimes he doesn't even notice. He'll walk into the room and the radio goes on. Has to be on. And then he'll come into the other room and the radio is still on, so I'll turn it off. And then he'll go back in that room and the radio goes back on. So,
Really?
yeah, I think there's some really great programs on the CBC. So radio
Me too.
that,
Quirks and Quarks.
yeah, I like Under the Influence, the one about marketing and stuff. I find that one great.
That one's
The one about the doctors with
White Coat, Black Art.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like
also
that
listen
one.
to-
That
How about
they
Just News?
just
Or
yeah,
Because News? Because News. That
I
one's
like that
pretty
one. See, there's lots of great programs. I don't really
I
the
love
talk
this
back
CBC.
ones. They're always there. Usually when I turn the radio on, and I don't love those.
What about Cross Country Checkup? Cross Country Checkup could be interesting.
I've only
Maybe.
listened to it once.
That guy's funny. You just never know what you're going to hear. Cross
I
Country
used
Checkup.
to, but I don't live there anymore. But I loved it. Final Cafe, The Debater, all the comedy ones were my favorite.
Final Cafe. Oh my goodness.
And I have the CBC apps for like Final Cafe, The Debaters. They have a comedy one. What is it called? But it has a bunch of different comedians and it's through the CBC.
Cool. When you remember, tell me what it is. I like
I'll send it to
CBC
you.
comedy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I got you all distracted
Yes,
about talking
no,
about the book because I didn't read the book. So
The
I was like, great, let's talk
Debaters!
about
Oh my God,
radio.
I love it!
But I like that she was on The Debaters. It was one of the things I'm like, oh, this will be good.
Right?
Yeah.
Just assume if you're on
Yeah.
the Debaters, you're hilarious.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Also, it's just nice to like give props to CBC. I adore, I get flooded with these good feelings when it comes to CBC and not so much other news radio stations. To me, that's almost the only acceptable response is, oh yeah, well, I'll tune into CBC, but if like other things, I'm like, no,
Oh, I
no.
like the music radio stations too. I will sometimes turn it to Indie 88 or a
Oh,
102.1
really?
The Edge still. I would still listen to that. Yeah, I like
Oh
the
my
music.
gosh.
Not the talking bits, but the
I
music.
like listening
Okay.
to like the radio. How else am I going to hear new songs? Otherwise, I'll just be listening to my music forever, which is okay too, because I like that.
Because I like my music.
I like my old
It's
music.
enjoyable. It's
Here's a question. Do you guys think it's a generational thing? Because when I was in Canada, my mom only has radio and then a CD player. The CDs she has is Tina Turner and, whatever.
Old Danny Boy or Danny Boy. Like,
Yeah, totally.
seriously.
Edith Piaf or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, when the kids are with me, we have to listen to the radio. And they're just like, oh, you have to wait for a song that you like? And I was like, yeah, you just have to listen. Because at first they kept on asking, like requesting, oh, can you play this song again? I'm like, no, it's the radio. No, I can't.
Yeah.
This is what we're listening to, whatever they put on. And then I had to find one that had more popular music because they're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh. So I eventually found like the hits station. But still, like, I wonder if it's a generational thing, like the CBC and listening to radio. I wonder if it's because that's our generation and if the new generation have no interest in that. What do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts on that from people you know in that
I
generation?
agree. Everyone
Sure,
listens to Spotify. I mean, you have kids that are a bit older, Kara, so you
No,
would know.
they wouldn't even understand why would one want to wait and listen to just what the radio has to offer. The idea that that's out of their control, that they couldn't curate or get on demand the things that they wanted, forget about it.
Well, even the TV, everyone does streaming where you're like, okay, well, I want to watch a show. I'll just watch 4 episodes of it. Whereas remember us growing up, you'd have to wait a week.
Or you have to be home at the right time,
Yeah.
right? If you're not home, then you don't get to see it.
It is. Then you don't get to see who's the boss.
You missed out till summer. You have to wait for reruns.
Yeah.
And then you got to check out the TV guide to see what episode's coming up.
90210.
Remember how big a deal Wednesdays 90210? That was huge.
You didn't see it the night before when you went to school. Everyone was talking about it, and you're like, damn it.
But I remember when PVR or whatever came out with that whole, it was really like mind blowing that you could set something and tape it and watch it at a later date. People were like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It was
So,
a very
It was
big deal,
amazing.
for sure.
right?
My mom still does that for TV, and she watches all murder mysteries, Hallmark ones, whatever. But she loves the ones that are like from the 90s or the 80s. Like they're so old, these British ones. Anyway,
So good.
but she records it. And then we watch it after it's been recorded, but she fast through, the commercials. And I kind of liked it because then my kids got used to the fact that, okay, there's a commercial now that we have to at least fast forward. It isn't like constant, instant,
Yeah.
whatever. And then we'd have to wait another week if it was to be continued for the next one. And we're like, my Nana would be like, no, that's happened. We have to wait till next Monday when it records again. They're
But like the thing
"Oh,
with TV now
what?"
though is because a lot of people, probably younger people, don't get cable or whatever. I feel like to make their money, they just it's all commercials. Like
True.
having watched TV at
True.
anybody's house, you're like, it's more commercials than show. Whereas before,
It's all
you would have a certain number of commercial breaks that were predictable. The commercial breaks now are like really, really long. Like I don't know.
7 or 8 commercials.
Yeah.
7 or 8 each one. I've just
7
spent the summer
minutes.
there for each, and it's all the time.
Funny.
Fast forward. It's like, 2-hour show is really just like 45 minutes because you're just fast
That's all
forwarding
it
through
is.
commercials.
Right? And I'm just tired of being like advertised at constantly. Don't
have
even
that.
want to be on the computer because everything, if you're interacting with technology, any technology, it's just constantly marketing at me. And I'm just not interested in that.
That's something we don't have here. I've noticed that a lot. Even if the kids watch just like a YouTube video or something, there'd be like in the middle, be like 3 commercials. I'm like, we just don't have that here.
I just don't want to buy something from Wayfair. I just don't. I'm not interested. Wayfair.
Okay.
My gosh,
Are you
the
sure?
Wayfair people after us now.
They're listening.
I have bought
Probably
something
are.
from Wayfair though.
You're gonna get an ad
That's
because
why.
you're talking on here and then you're going to get an ad for Wayfair the next time you
Listen,
open any
I
browser
can't
of
possibly
anything.
get more ads for Wayfair. It's constant. It's constant. I have all the tracking stuff turned off on my phone and computer stuff. So like if I search for something near me, it won't tell me anything near me. It'll think I'm somewhere else in the world because it does not know where I am. I have to like type in I've got using browsers that have no tracking, and still it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Constantly.
Wayfair loves you. They're
You bought
stalking
something
you.
for them once and they're like, that's our customer. She's the one.
She's gonna buy one more thing another day. One day she'll buy another thing. I can't remember what I bought. I did buy something from Wayfair though. I can't remember.
It's your own fault.
Yeah,
exactly. She brought this upon herself.
It's wanted a very specific thing that I couldn't get in town.
Okay, back to the book.
Sorry.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Would you guys recommend the book? Lindsay, do you
Yes.
think that you would read it?
I don't know. I think that when I listened to the sisters, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll read it. When I listened to Kara, who I now think is probably more like the kind of books that I like, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
Yeah.
I like a story arc. I like something
Me
to have a
too.
beginning, middle, and an end to it. So I think I maybe read a story and then put it down. But you guys think it's funny. I don't know. It just sounded sad to me, but I don't know.
Go to a random story near the back and then see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
middle.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
It really doesn't matter because
I didn't think the stories at the end were as funny as the stories.
Okay,
at the
middle
beginning and
then.
Okay, I'm going to pick a random chapter in the middle.
Random
I will read
chapter.
it, and then
Yeah.
we'll see. So, and then
and
I'll
you can
decide.
do that in this book. You can totally just do a random chapter because nothing is talking to itself. Like
Right, yeah, that's
what I mean?
that's not, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it is though. I think they lay a foundation in the beginning, so that when later on they're getting in fights or not getting in fights and all this stuff, you're like, oh, okay. You know, when somebody comes to their rescue and they're suddenly going to get into a fight they weren't planning on,
Yeah.
it's like you get it.
You kind of know that you'll have a cousin who's going to get your back.
Like you kind of see where she stands in the cultural context of things. What do you think about the title? It draws attention to a certain story, right?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I don't think it was the best story. Like, it was fine.
But the question is, why do you think she chose that story as the title? It must have been important that she's
Great
like,
question.
this story in some way epitomizes what I'm trying to do here. Or
Totally.
maybe it's just hilarious to say, nobody cries at bingo. But like
Yeah.
maybe it has to do with what you get out of life is chance, and you can either laugh about it or you can cry about it. And you
Yeah.
have to decide. And if you're going to cry about it, don't come back to bingo.
Bingo's not for
Don't
you.
cry and just keep on taking your chances. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Or am I looking too
No,
much
that's
into
brilliant.
this?
I love your kind of like looking at like, well, why nobody cries at bingo is the thematic way or the lens that the author looks through in her life. Like you can take things any number of ways. Things aren't always going to work out in your favor. I also think it's a little bit of her cheekiness though. I think it is almost dabbling with playing with the stereotype of Raz life. I think it is somewhat of a nod saying like, well, this predominantly is a story about an Indigenous woman being raised by the Indigenous community. And yeah, there's a lot of stereotypes. And actually, we're going to be laughing about those because some of them I did indeed experience myself. Yeah.
It also shows her personality because in it, she makes fun of herself a lot for being kind of overly dramatic and overly emotional compared to her other family members that are like, get a grip. Like, why are you crying?
Like
then?
Pammy, the youngest sister. I was like, oh dear.
Everyone was just kind of always like, come on, Dawn. You crying again? Like, it reminds
Pull
me of
yourself
that
together.
part reminds me of my youngest who is dramatic. I say to her all the time, I'm like, we're not doing the fake crying right now. Just stop the fake crying.
Try a different strategy.
Can we not do the fake crying right now? But that's what reminded me because Dawn's not like she's crying because she's dramatic. She's a dramatic person, which made her more funny, to be honest. So I think that might be part of it too. Like nobody cries at bingo, but Dawn does because she's overly dramatic. Because she
Dawn.
wanted cheesies, right? Was it Cheetos?
She did.
You wanted the
Yeah.
Cheetos. She was only at bingo for the Cheetos and they just weren't giving it to her.
Her mom was like, you can have it when you win.
And then she ended up winning. And they're like, you can
But she
leave
did.
now. She's like, that's all I wanted. Cheetos. Anyway.
I do think it could have been a different title.
Yeah, different title. Yeah.
You think of a different title? Yeah.
I think it could have
would pick a
worked
different
with a different
story.
title.
I don't know what, but just pinpointing that story wasn't the funniest. There were so many other stories that were way funnier, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Remember when Dawn, when her mom decided that when the oldest sister, Tabitha, was a teenager and getting very rebellious, that Dawn had to be like paired up
Yeah.
with Tabitha
wasn't
for
cool.
everything? And like that chapter really caught my attention. Dawn, like in the middle of a party, like socially just so, there are rules here. And Dawn was like not following them.
Or like her realization, she's like, I get it. Is this what hanging out and being young
Yeah.
and doing stupid things is about? When she had that light bulb moment, she's like, oh, this is why they're doing this, because it's actually fun, instead for being like, let's stop doing this. You're
Yeah.
like the fun police up until that moment.
Yeah. I feel like something could have been extracted from that to be formed into a title as well. Because I felt like that was very informative about who Dawn is.
Yeah, she's like a goody two shoes bookworm introvert, surrounded by people that are like super outgoing and everything she wasn't.
Yeah.
Everything she wasn't. Like having problems making friends, even.
Well-
Both her sisters had such an easy time with all of it. Like she was just she was like the black sheep of her family.
And how she would try to connect with boys, but it was like it was just the worst. She would like insult them, the ones that she liked the best. Insult them. And I'm like, oh dear.
Do you think that like a lot of teenagers coming of age feel like the black sheep because you're still figuring out how to be comfortable in your own skin? How many people do you know that'd be like, I'm the black sheep of my family? Like the whole family can't be made of black sheep. Otherwise, that term doesn't mean anything. Do you think that it's a common thing of adolescence when you're like coming of age and feeling awkward and not knowing? Or do you think, does everybody feel like a black sheep at some point, or is that just me?
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe.
No, not me.
You've never felt like a black sheep?
My family? No.
Yeah.
No, I was the eldest and yeah, no.
Because I know my brother's always like, I'm the black sheep. I'm like, you're the black sheep? Please.
He's definitely not the black sheep.
He is not the black
Definitely
sheep.
not.
I think Sarah just said I'm the black sheep.
Yeah, I'd say your brother's the black sheep. For sure. Out of you
Meredith
three?
isn't. You went into engineering, so you're with the whole family that are all engineers. So you're not the black sheep at all.
You don't think so?
If anything, I'm the black sheep.
See? All three of you.
See, that's
I
what I'm
think-
talking about. Our entire family. I think we're just a family of black sheep. We're just a flock of black sheep.
Listen, no. I
See?
think
That's
you
what
are
I'm
the
talking
black
about.
sheep
Jeez.
of one side of the family, and Matt is the black sheep of the other side of the family. And maybe I'm neutral? I don't know.
A neutral black sheep.
I'm a neutral sheep. I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm
A
neutral.
beige sheep?
A beige sheep.
Beige.
I'm a camel.
Yeah, okay.
Kara, do you feel like the black sheep of your family?
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Yeah, she
and
does.
I would venture to guess that Leah does not. I think Leah would be very similar to you, Lindsay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We have similar, I
Yeah.
think, views. It's the like confidence of being like, no, I'm great. What are you talking about? I'm not
Yeah.
the black sheep.
Totally.
Which is annoying for
Like,
other
I'm
people.
good here.
Maybe we are the black sheep. Maybe that's the point. We're just oblivious to it.
Totally. You and Leah
I love
are the
it.
black sheep because you don't think you are.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
I
makes
think
you the black
are.
sheep.
We
Oh,
live in
yeah,
our
yeah.
own rules. We're like, whatever, we're just gonna do what we're gonna do, and you guys can deal with it.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
maybe
exactly what it is. Is it's just no one else gets to decide for you. You're very self-possessed, and like you'll own it. If like something doesn't turn out, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'll be the first one to be like whatever. But for the most part, Leah would just be like, yeah, no, you don't get to decide for me.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but maybe
You
that
guys
does
both do
make
a
us
great
black
job
sheep.
of honoring your parents, but also being your own individuals.
Well, thank you. That was a nice
Yeah.
compliment.
I would agree, actually. That is a very insightful statement. I would agree completely with you, Lindsay.
Oh, thanks. But yeah.
All right, so our family's compiled of only black sheep.
Only black sheep. People pleasers. And we think if
Thrilled
we
with it.
actually act like ourselves around our family, they won't love us anymore. And then we'll be out of the family. So we have to pretend to be something we're not.
It's the
All of
people
us.
pleaser. There you go. That's what you guys all are. Is the people
true.
pleasers feel like you're black
So
sheep,
worried
but
that
the
if we
not
show our
people pleasers
yeah,
are the
so
ones
worried that if we show our true colors, or well, let's say, that we will no longer be loved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
So
Well,
look,
I love you
The
all
people
for your
pleasers.
beige camel or black wool,
totally.
Thank you.
just as you are. That's like a rom-com line, isn't it?
You're
From
just, yeah.
very cheesy.
Just as
I
you
love
are.
you just as you are.
The way you
I think the
are.
thing is, it doesn't matter if you're a black sheep or whatever. Everyone's just part of the flock. You're supposed to be different.
People are more likely at adolescence to feel that way because they're still trying to figure out who they are
Yes.
outside of their family unit. So I think that's a normal adolescent badge of
Phase.
what if
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say? What do they call badge of honor or something for adolescents?
No,
Yeah.
just like a transition where you're just like,
Yeah,
I don't
I think
know.
that's a normal
Trying to figure out
transition.
your individuality apart from your parents.
I'm getting that a lot right now with my 13-year-old. Yep.
Awesome. That's
Yes.
lovely.
We call her the ghost child because we never see her ever.
Where is she? I don't know. Not here.
She doesn't want to participate at all in anything.
Except for when Auntie Schweitz is there, then she participates.
True. Yeah.
That's nice.
Outside the family, she participates. Inside the family, she's a ghost. Okay, so that's all the time we have for now. Any last thoughts, and we'll move on. Last book.
Yeah.
No, read the
right.
book. I
That's
love this
it.
book.
Read the
It's
book.
hilarious.
That's it. Laugh out loud.
There
Okay,
you go.
bye guys.
This interruption is brought to you by our affiliate partners, Libro FM. Libro FM lets you purchase audiobooks directly from your favorite local bookstore. Book Interrupted has a special offer. Use the promotional code INTERRUPTION to get 2 audiobooks for the price of 1 and help your local bookstore while you're at it.
Book interrupted.
Hey, so I'm Ria. This is my interruption. My interruption this book cycle was everything. So my life is chaos. I had, in addition to my regular 50-hour a week work job, I picked up another contract position and now I'm very busy. But also I had renos to do. I was building a ceiling and hanging kitchen cabinets. So I did that. And that took a little bit longer than expected. And then while I was reading this book, I also realized that I had maybe three books on Libby that were due which is like the free library app that you can use. And if I didn't read them, then I would probably not get them for another 2 or 3 months. And they're all really good books. So I paused it and read those books first. And then I finished reading. But yeah, that's my interruption. Too many books to read, renos, and a second job.
Book interrupted.
It's book report time. We're going to find out from each member their final thoughts. And do they recommend the book? Let's listen.
Hello, Kara here. I am wanting to share with you a book review on Nobody Cries at Bingo by Dawn Dumont. It was a nice light read, and it was sprinkled with humor. So that was kind of nice and refreshing. I was really feeling like I didn't want anything heavy, and this delivered in that sense. Because it's been a while, friends. How is everybody? I haven't done a recording and joined Book Interrupted for what seems like for forever. Well, what can I share about Nobody Cries at Bingo by Dawn Dumont? She is the author. She is the narrator. She's also the main character of this book. And she shares with us a life in Balcarres, if that's how it's pronounced. I hope so. Balcarres, which is in Saskatchewan, which is in Canada. It's kind of like an eye-opening tale about what was life like on the Okanese First Nation during the 80s and the 90s. And it's from the perspective, like I said, of Dawn Dumont, who is a smart, shy, sensitive young woman, girl predominantly in the story. She shares mostly stories from her childhood. And yeah, she's a a kid who likes to read a lot, is a bit socially awkward. And she kind of like exposes readers to like life on the reserve as well as the world outside of it. So this book, it was marketed and is marketed as a novel, but I found it was much closer to nonfiction, more like an autobiography or a memoir. So yeah, that was kind of like the first thing that seemed a little bit misleading when I started to read the book. I was like, oh, okay, oh. It's really more, the author has sewn together a series of vignettes, really. So each chapter in and of itself could almost be read as a standalone, where Dawn is sharing her experiences with the readers. And these experiences vary from, bingo, weddings, the politics of the schoolyard, car rides, the freedom that having a set of wheels brings, even if you're not of legal driving age, and kind of ends with like a band council meeting. So lots of different stories here and there, like I said earlier, focusing mostly on her childhood. We just get a couple glimpses of what Dawn's life was like as an older teen, as a young adult, or as an adult. So in reading these chapters, I was kind of like, what's the connecting theme here? I was hard pressed to find it other than, it's her recounting and sharing her life experiences. But when I sat back, the answer finally came to me. I think the connecting thread that kind of sews all of these chapters together is her great affection for her family, as well as her sarcastic humor. So that is absolutely a part of her writing style and delivery. Though that there wasn't really a strong main character journey, there also really wasn't a clear narrative arc. So although it was a nice, enjoyable read, and like I said, there was humor, there was lightness to it, part of me almost found myself wanting to know, what is the overarching point, right? What is the takeaway? Is there a lesson here? I found myself thinking of other great storytellers that I know in my life. And one of those great storytellers is Sarah and Meredith's mother. And when she tells her story, they're also filled with a lot of humor, absolutely from life experiences. But you get very clearly, very early on, the point of her choosing to share a particular story with you at a particular time. It is to share a lesson. It is her hearing you with something that you're going through and sharing back her own experience with a similar-ish thing. So although it was a nice read, I did kind of wonder I feel like I wanted almost one step more to understand a bit better why the chapters were curated in the order that they were. I don't know, a nonfiction personal growth book would unfold, at the end you feel like you're going away with a really great big insight. And with this book, I didn't find that there was a great big takeaway. It was just kind of oh, and I'm done. So that is my book report, my book review on Nobody Cries at Bingo by Dawn Dumont, young Canadian Indigenous writer who did write a great story. I just found myself wanting even more.
Hey listeners, this is Ashley, and this is going to be my book report for Nobody Cries at Bingo by Dawn Dumont. I haven't finished this book. I am still currently reading it, so I don't know if I can give the best book report, but I do have a few little notes here, and I think it's hilarious. I think it was the first paragraph, something right away, there was already humor in it that felt really authentic. The way the stories are being told reminds me of how me and my friends and family tell our stories. We always throw in a joke in there, and how even the stuff that is really hard to talk about, we can always find the light in it. And I'm very thankful that this story was picked, because I am enjoying it quite a bit, and I think it's important that we continue to expose not only ourselves, but hopefully to any listeners that do read the books that we read, to Indigenous stories and the Indigenous perspective. So I'm very happy about that. I think it was a great book to end the season on. And I can't wait to finish reading it because so far it's a great one. So I hope you guys enjoy too.
We just finished reading Nobody Cries at Bingo. As I mentioned in the group chat, I really liked this book. It was hilarious. This is my brand of humor. She takes everyday occurrences, some of them, kind of upsetting and some of them traumatic, or what we would think about as being bad things or negative things, and she displays them in a humorous light, and she's kind of poking fun at herself and her life and her circumstances, but also showing that your life is just made up of a whole bunch of different experiences, and some of them might be considered good, some of them bad, but it's mostly just a mix, and it all leads up to what makes you who you are. At first I was like, why did she name this Nobody Cries at Bingo? Because for me that wasn't like the funniest story, but I think that it just really epitomizes what she's trying to show here, is that you don't know what's going to come. Some days good, sometimes bad, but you can look at it with humor instead of looking at everything through a tragic lens. Look at the bright side, even if that bright side is only that you can find a way to laugh about it. So I recommend this book to anybody who needs a laugh and also enjoys that kind of humor that's mixed in with maybe also upsetting circumstances. Not maybe. So the things that happen in this book, you're like, oh my God, especially when she's talking about things that happened to her when she was a kid. And you're like, this is kids going through this, but she still managed to find like a humorous way of telling the story, which I really appreciate. Thanks, Dawn Dumont. I will look for more of your work out there because, like I said, I think you're hilarious.
All right, so this is my book report for Kara's book pick. So I don't have my book with me because me and Meredith switched off. I happened to see Meredith in the summer, and I had been reading Dawn's book, and she was reading The Deep, so we just switched after she went home. So I don't have it to show you, but what I'll say about this book is it was a slow start. I was like, the description of this book is funny and whatever, and it was fine, but it was just like someone writing about their life in the beginning. Like, I wasn't hooked. And then halfway through the book, it got really good. So I wanted to read it. There was lots of funny moments, laugh out loud moments. You really love Dawn's character and the things that happen and the shenanigans she gets into and her family and all that good stuff. So what I'll say about this book is keep with it, because the beginning, I would say the beginning third maybe, I was like, it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It was just okay. But then as it continued, I really enjoyed it. So the second half is really funny. And it's basically about Dawn and her life growing up on the res, and it was just about her life, and she's funny, and it's written really well, and she's good at the character development as well. There are a lot of characters in this book. So that's one thing too, because sometimes you can get a bit lost with how many people are in the book. But I think she does a pretty good job reminding you who people are. So that was good, and it was funny. So by the end, there are laugh out loud parts. So I would recommend this book. I didn't think I was going to. When Meredith first came, I was like, I don't know, I can't get through this book. It was fine, but by the end, I was like, oh, it's so good, and this is funny, and I was now sharing stories and stuff. So hang in there with it, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, that's it for me.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Book Interrupted. If you'd like to see the video highlights from this episode, please go to our YouTube channel, Book Interrupted. You can also find our videos on www.bookinterrupted.com.
Are you interested in buying this book? Do you want to order the next book so you can read along? Go to www.bookinterrupted.com/shop to see a complete list of our books. And if you haven't tried them yet, our affiliate partners, The Bookshop and Libro.fm, both help support your local bookstore where available. Thanks for taking the time to check in and connect. We'll see you next time on Book Interrupted.
Book Interrupted.
Never forget, every child matters.